Hello. This is Elf, and we're doing another hat. I was going to do a bowler, but I didn't like the form of the bowler. The one that I have is not great quality, so I'm going to be doing another top hat. And I don't know, we'll see how it develops. But this one I'm not going to do in 4 parts. Nope, I'm going to try and get all of this into one video. Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of speed up, a lot of go fast, okay? But we have our hat, we've cleaned it up a bit, and we are ready to get started. First thing up is a hat band, and I have this really cool quilted fabric that I got. It's double-sided, so the hat band will be reversible on this one. And I'm just putting some seam binding around the edge here, and once I get the seam binding on, then I'm going to run this through the machine. So I have sort of finished the hat band here, and I just have it held on temporarily with a pin. And you can see I just kind of lined it all the way around with some seam tape, and then I put it on here and found where that overlap was, which I will probably put on the side. And then I just took a pin and, pinned it on for temporary. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this permanently, but there it is, temporary. And then I want to put, a nosegay type veil on this. So, not sure how I'm going to attach this yet, but for right now I just have the tool kind of in there under the hat band so I can get an idea, because at this point I'm just kind of working through how I want this to look. So far that's where we're at. Alright, since we're doing everything on these hats so that it can come off, I want to put a small nosegay type veil at the front of this hat, and so it has to come off, so I have to find a way to put it on where it comes off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch this tool, which I've already attached the lace to, around the edge. I'm going to stitch across this with just a running stitch through the holes that are already here. This is really just kind of an up and down, up and down. I just bring the needle up and put it down, and bring it up and put it down, and I'm just going to go all the way across here. And I'm staying relatively close to the top. I'm not making big stitches because, you know, we don't want huge weird puckers in this. We just want nice kind of easy puckers. So I'm going to hold this end, put a clamp on there, and I'm just going to kind of arrange this going across to about where I want it, and then I'm going to put a clamp on this side too. Okay, so now this is going to get put on by being attached to a piece of seam binding. So I'm going to be putting this inside of the seam binding all the way across, and then this piece will be what actually attaches to the hat. Not sure how I'm going to attach it yet. Probably some tie tacks. But so I do want to make, you know, kind of, I want to look at the fit on this. So let me get the pins out of the way because we're going to be using those in a second. But here's the hat, and this is going to be that little veil. So I just want to see, you know, how that fits. So I'm just going to kind of set it on here. Draw it back. Fits nice on the width. Fairly nice in the front. It has the fall that I want. So that's going to be pretty much as wide as I'm going to want this. So I'm going to start on this end, and I'm just going to take my seam binding, and I'm going to place it over and close this down, and then I'm going to go ahead and put a pin in here. Let me get the pins back over. Yes, this is my highly technical Harbor Freight pin cushion. Okay. So this is a parts tray from Harbor Freight, and on the bottom of this is a very large magnet, and the magnet keeps the pins from falling out. So keeps them all in there. This tray was, I think it was $7, so not overly expensive. Certainly less expensive than the pin cushion, because they do have a pin cushion that's similar. And the pin cushion was like $9, and it was like a 2 by 2 inch square. Not exactly cost effective. And that was, you know, it was a Dritz item. I think I bought it at Hobby Lobby or Joann's, probably Joann's. But it just wasn't worth my money for the size. I could get like 10 pins on it, and I use way more than 10 pins on any project, on every project. So, alright, so now I have this pinned on here. Kind of the only disadvantage, except everything metal in its track. Alright, so now we have our hat band. I'm going to fit this again, just making sure that I've got a good size, and I do. And then I'm going to use my machine to sew this. And basically I'm just going to sew straight across here, and I'm going to take this off at the end. So we'll do that now. Oh, where have my fabric scissors gone? Oh, where can they be? And I'm going to cut this at an inward angle because I want it to look like it's sloping in. So I'm going to run this through my machine real quick, and then I'll be back and we'll test fit it and get some tacks on it. All right. So in the interest of you guys knowing exactly what I've done here, I already had the thread on there, and I looked at it and I decided it would be easier to do this by hand. So I'm just putting a simple running back stitch on here. It allows me to control and make sure the tool stays in between the seam binding. And it's a fairly simple but very standard hand sewing stitch. And basically all I'm doing is just putting it in and bringing it up. It's the where I put it in part. So there's a little stitch right here. And so what I'm going to do is this is where my thread came up, and this is where my stitch is. I'm just going to go halfway between those and go in, and then just come up on the other side of where my original stitch came up. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm going to come up that way. Let me bring a little light up here. There we go. And if I do that all the way across, I'm basically going to lock every stitch in by hand, okay? So I'm just going to go in and come back up on the other side of where I came up the last time. And then I'll do it again. I'll go in between where I came up and where my last stitch is. I'll come up on the other side of my stitch, okay? And if I was doing this in another color, it would probably show up better, but in the interest of being fair, so that you guys aren't thinking that I'm using my machine and cheating on everything, and normally I would use my machine, but I just think this is giving me a little bit more control over how the tool is, you know, where the ruffles are and so on and so forth. Alright, so I finished the veil and I have it on here, but I did something, rather than putting more pins, you know, what I decided to do is use one of these giant hairbands. So it's just a giant hairband, and it's just connected to that piece in the front, and it's not even connected, it's just really just holding it on there, and then the whole thing will get hidden behind a hat band that we have fitted on here. So we'll just take the hat band over that all the way around. Easiest way to do that is to put your fingers in and pull the hat band off the hat and just kind of push down on it. Okay. Alright, so that is attached. I like it. I like it a lot. Alright, so now we are going to move on to the next part, which is kind of attaching some of the stuff that we've done. And that includes this little piece, which is just a piece of faux suede. Let me trim this here just a little bit. There we go. That we actually glued some pieces of our metal to. And these are stitched. And then this is going to go on the side just by putting it in to the hat. I'm going to put my fingers in there so I give it some support to push out on it. And then it's going to come back through. Let me just push it in. There we go. Connect that. And these are steel, so do be careful. There we go. We do have this chain here, and I have something that I want to do to that, kind of as an homage to Jules Verne, which is, you know, what steampunk is based on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some letters to spell out, I don't know, Jules or Verne. I might put another piece of chain over here and do Jules and Verne on the other side, but we're going to be putting a name on that. And we have a whole bunch of these pins that we've already done. Let me see what we've got here. That we've put different gears onto. Just glued these on with a little E6000. And we have that little piece we made, this little piece we made, and we have a few more gears and things that we can use. And so we are going to we're going to see about putting some of this stuff, adding some of this stuff in, and then of course we also have goggles for this. So I'm going to start doing all of that, and I will show you a little bit more when we get a little more done. All right, so we started off with the hat. We cleaned it up pretty good. And we made the hat band, which is attached here with some snaps, so it comes off easily. I made some little detail pieces. This is just some wings that I cut out of a die. I may move this up just a little bit because it's kind of flipping up there. So I'm probably going to move this up just a hair. There we go. And then this is just a piece of metal work. You know, the same kind that we use when we're making a detail piece for our journals. And again, it just has a tack through it that I've put a gear on the front of. And then back here we have our little chain with some charms. This is an old earring that I bought, and I just broke the earring back off of it. And then there's like a key and a little fairy and a little dragon. And then over here we have our little gear plate that's got all of our little gears on it. And it's on a kilt pin, and then it also has a chain right here, and the chain actually says Verne, for Jules Verne. And underneath the hat band we have this veil, so it can come right off. If you want to take it off, you just pull it right off. And then we of course have our required pair of goggles on there as well. So that's kind of it. That's the second one. I did put a stick pin with a skull over here, and another another little pin type thing. So that's it. That's our secondary steampunk hat. And of course, you know, to get a better idea of what this looks like, there will be pictures at the end of the video. But thank you so much, guys, for coming along with me on this these two videos. If this is your first time here, welcome very much. I appreciate you stopping by. And if you would do me the favor of subscribing, just hit that red button for me. Then like me, ring my bell, and share me with all your friends. And then your friends can be my friends, and my friends can be your friends, and our friends can get to be friends. And before you know it, we have an entire crafty community. Until I see you the next time, please do me a favor. Stay safe. Bye-bye.